Biggie Smalls helped discover Lil Kim and played a major part in making her a star. But behind the scenes, their relationship was more than just a business partnership and at times even became violent. This is the tragic story of Biggie Smalls and Lil Kim. Just like Biggie, Lil Kim grew up mostly in the Bed-Stuy neighborhood of Brooklyn, New York. Her parents split up when she was only 9 years old, and she was mostly raised by her dad, a former Marine named Linwood Jones. According to Kim, her father was abusive to her mother, which is what led to the breakup. But her mother was struggling financially and couldn't take care of the kids on her own, so Linwood got full custody. He was also very strict and held her to a high standard, but as a teenager, she started to rebel and began dating boys, which is when her father became verbally abusive. One day, Kim had enough and stabbed him with a pair of kitchen scissors, so he kicked her out of the house. So, at 14 years old, Kim was homeless and living on the streets. She eventually dropped out of high school and began living with her various boyfriends and local drug dealers just to survive. She worked minimum wage jobs at local department stores and did what she had to do to get by. But deep down, she had big dreams of becoming a famous rapper. That's when she met the man who would change her life and make her one of the biggest female hip-hop artists of all time. Kim first met Biggie in 1993 when she was 17, and he was about 19. At the time, he was just a small-time local drug dealer who had a reputation in the neighborhood for his rapping skills. Biggie heard Kim knew how to rap, so he made her spit a freestyle for him when she was coming home from work one day and was immediately impressed by her skills. He had never seen a female rapper that was that cold and knew she would be a huge star. From then on, they formed a close relationship that went way deeper than music. Kim would later on say that Biggie was my friend, my lover, my everything, and she was his biggest fan. He knew that one day she would be the biggest female rapper in the world and inspired him to take risks and stand out. She thought they would be the next big celebrity couple like Sonny and Cher. But even though Big would help make her a superstar, Kim would soon be in the middle of an awkward love triangle that would only lead to tragedy. The same year Biggie met Kim, he also signed a deal with Puffy's newly founded label, Bad Boy Records. Big put together a group called Junior Mafia and invited Kim to become a member. Lil Kim was featured on the song Play Us Anthem from their 1995 album Conspiracy. She was immediately recognized as one of the breakout stars of the group and quickly began working on her own solo project. Kim was very different from any female rappers who came before her. Her sexually charged lyrics and hardcore style were very new at the time. Even though she dealt with plenty of criticism, it also made her one of the most popular female rappers of the time. She released her first album, Hardcore, in 1996, which debuted at number 11 on Billboard. It became famous for its raunchy themes and Kim's lyrical abilities and is considered a landmark album and a classic in the genre. Behind the scenes, Biggie played an important role in crafting Kim's image as an artist. Big was also famous for his sexually explicit bars and wanted Kim to use her sex appeal to sell records. It clearly worked, because within a few years, she went from being an unknown artist rapping on street corners to topping the Billboard charts. But Big wasn't only providing her with career advice. Since they met, they had an on-again, off-again relationship that became increasingly complicated after Big married Faith Evans in 1994. Big and Faith got married just a few weeks after they met at a Bad Boy photo shoot. But the entire time he was married, he was still seeing Kim on the side. Kim wasn't the only woman Big was seeing on the side, but their relationship became more and more tense because Faith and Kim were both signed to Bad Boy and spent a lot of time around each other. Faith knew that Kim and her husband were close, but assumed it was strictly a work relationship. That was until she caught him in bed together in a hotel room. In her autobiography, Faith says that one night, she went up to her husband's hotel room and found him in bed with another woman. Without even realizing who it was in bed, Faith pulled back the covers, threw the woman off the bed, and started beating her ass. At one point, her wig came off and Faith realized it was the same short crop style that Lil Kim was known for wearing. She stopped throwing punches for a second to get a better look at who she was fighting. She quickly realized it was Lil Kim, who was butt naked trying to cover her body with her hands. Big yelled for someone to get Kim out of the room so he could talk to his wife. So she left, screaming and cursing the entire time. So, from then on, it was known to everyone that Big and Lil Kim's relationship was also sexual. You would think that his wife finding out would be enough to convince Big to end it, but he continued seeing Kim on the side all the way up until his death. In fact, in 1996, while she was busy working on her album Hardcore, Kim realized that she was pregnant with Biggie's child. Even though she had a lot of love for him, she knew it wouldn't be fair to the baby. She told The Source in 1999, "I already knew the kind of relationship that Biggie and I had, and I knew that having a child was something that couldn't take place. So she ultimately decided to have an abortion, rather than trying to start a family with a married man." That was probably the right decision because Biggie would be killed in a drive-by shooting only a year later. Big's death would have a huge impact on Kim as he was so important in her career, and they had shared such a special bond. But over the years, the truth came out about how chaotic and often violent their relationship truly was. During an interview with Drink Champs in 2017, Jermaine Dupri talks about seeing Biggie pull a gun on Lil Kim during an argument. Kim later confirmed the story was true during an interview with Ebro from Hot 97. While she claims he got a few details wrong and it didn't go down exactly like that, apparently it was common in their relationship, and their time together could get very violent. She says Big was a classic Gemini with two different sides to him. Most of the time they were together, he was a total teddy bear who was always making sure she was okay and buying her anything she needed. But he also had a darker side that was influenced by his persona as a gangster rapper who felt like he needed to present a certain image even outside the studio. Despite their crazy relationship, Kim still remembers Biggie very fondly and gives him his credit for helping her career. When friends and family gathered to celebrate what would have been his 50th birthday last year, she said that she knows if Biggie were still alive today, he would be funny, fun, handsome, fly, crazy. It's always important to honor the king. He's the king lives on, she added. He's just an amazing person, amazing artist, his legacy is just great. Look at the catalog, look at everything he's accomplished, even at such a young age. Surprisingly, she even fixed her relationship with Faith Evans, even after the hotel room incident. Since Big's death, they've decided to put their differences aside and have even bonded over their shared love for Big. More recently, they've become close friends, and Faith even said that Kim was like a sister to her during an IG Live interview with Fat Joe. "I've always adored Kim," she said. "When I first met Kim, I had no inkling of anything going on with her and Big. I didn't meet her in the vein of, I'm this man's wife and I know you're fucking him." They also collaborated together on Faith and Biggie's joint album The King and I on the track Loving You for Life. But even though Kim still has love for Big and there are no hard feelings, the impact of their intense relationship may have taken its toll on her psychologically. Over the years, Lil Kim has undergone all kinds of plastic surgeries, so you almost can't even recognize her anymore. She's admitted that the reason she's gotten so much work done is from the years of being mistreated by men. She says that throughout her whole life, boyfriends have cheated on her with European-looking women, and being betrayed so many times made her feel like she couldn't compete. She even admitted in an interview with Hot 97 that she had to have surgery to correct her nose after an abusive ex-boyfriend attacked her and broke it. So even though she doesn't blame Biggie for her addiction to plastic surgery, the lifetime of abuse she suffered has left her with low self-esteem. She copes with it by getting surgery. Big's death was also a major loss, as she lost both a boyfriend and a mentor. Throughout the years, she often refers to her Big Papa in conversations and acts like he's still alive, going as far as crediting him as a producer on her second album. So even though Lil Kim has had plenty of success, she's also had a pretty tragic life full of violence and loss. Biggie helped put her on and turned her into a star, but behind the music, there was a lot going on that the fans didn't know about. But despite all the ups and downs, she's continued to keep his legacy alive and appreciates everything he taught her.